You promised to bring her back. You promised to bring her back. I'm like, we give you.
You will give me.
But you served you breakfast.
It's not my boyfriend. I did not serve
No,
you.
I served you breakfast. No, but he gave you breakfast. Yes or no?
You broke my heart.
And that's it. Now when they
Share.
yeah, you come and be asking, how did she get the admission? Go and watch the video.
Yes.
And don't pay them. So like your comments will motivate them to say they want to come back.
Yes,
so as you heard what she said, like your comments was what made her agree to come back to talk to you all. Hello people, it's your girl again, O to the L to the A, and on this channel I provide tips on how you can study abroad, ranging from the application process through funding details through visa interview. And I know majority of you all have been saying that I should bring Catherine back. Ola, you promised to bring her back. You promised to bring her back. I'm like, a lot of like comments on bring her back. And well, here she is, she's back. And if you've not seen the previous video on how she came to talk about how she transferred from her school in Nigeria to the school in the US, I'm going to link it somewhere on the screen, so make sure you watch that video so you would understand. Please don't come to this video to come and be asking how did she get the admission. Go and watch the video first, please.
Just watch the video.
Okay, so I'm going to give her like a minute to introduce herself. So Catherine, my fans want to meet you. I'll be your fans, people that have been saying bring her back.
Thank you all for being my fans. I really appreciate it. I'm Catherine Mushewe. I'm a senior here at Miami studying accountancy at the Farmer School of Business. And yeah, Yinka is my friend and she's invited me for the second time. And I really love the responses I got from my first video with her, and that's what prompted me to, give more tips, and especially based on the visa. So yeah.
So you see why it's
I'm happy to be back.
Exactly. So you see why it's important for you to comment, especially when I bring people to the channel. It's important for you to comment because like I don't pay them. So like your comments will motivate them to say they want to come back. So as you heard what she said, like your comments was what made her agree to come back to talk to you all. So please subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe, bro.
Okay. Comment down below.
Comment below.
And like. Thank you.
Shares, in fact. Share.
Yeah, share to people it will be helpful too.
Yes,
so anyways, today we are talking about visa interview, like you people requested.
Yes,
we are talking about visa interview. And if from the first admission story she stated that at first her visa was denied, then she did it again and she got approved. Of course, that is why she's here. So she will be telling us first from the process of how our visa got denied to how our visa got approved. So the first question I would ask you, Catherine, is when you were going to the embassy for the first time, first off, where did you do your first interview?
I did it in Lagos State in Nigeria. So
okay, what about the second interview?
Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria.
Okay, so basically she did the first one in Lagos and the second one in Abuja. So when you were going for the interview, what were like some of the important documents that you took with you?
DS 160 confirmation page, very important because it shows you like your number and your obviously interview appointment sheet. You print it out. You also take the important document, your passport. Obviously your passport has to be there, and like since it's going to be student visa, I assume you have to come with like proof of fund if you don't have a scholarship, and if you have a scholarship you have like any award letter. Concerning the scholarship, you bring in your high 20 is extremely important. It shows your school and everything. It's just like the important information that pertains to even you responding to those DS-160 questions when you were filling like your service fee printout, your printout of paying for your interview, like the $160 in Nigeria for paying for the interview, and all those like important documents. And you also like can bring all the supporting documents like high school transcripts, other things that I feel would prompt, like encourage the person to want to give you the visa is what I would say you should bring.
Okay, so since we are talking about DS-160, I know that a popular question that people have asked me in time past is when you were filling your DS-160, of course you are a transfer student, when they ask you for your occupation, what did you put there?
Occupation was being a student. I placed it there confidently because I didn't have work. I was a student, and Nigeria is not like, like other countries like US or Canada whereby you're student to be working. So, and there was this visa form, like, DS-160 can fill for different type of visas. So those questions will be there, and you want to leave it. So I placed like, I'm a student at Dominican University, Ibadan.
Okay.
They asked for duties. I placed my duties as like being a student, what I have to do, and like just you treat it as a job because you're trying to get a job by even getting a bachelor's degree in the first place. So those things they like, just make sure it's, I won't say like, not it's as kind of professional, but just put it in there. Position held student, obviously.
Okay.
Okay.
So I also know that another question that I also received is like, when they ask you for the duration of your study, like on that DS-160 thing, they ask you what's the duration of your study. So like, what would be the duration of your study?
That will be based on your I-20. So you pick up your I-20 and you see the duration that the your DSO, that is your designated student officer, place in there for like how long you'll be staying there. So that's what will determine. So if it's like you're starting as a freshman, that's first year. Obviously, most probably, if it's a 4-year degree, 4 year with 5 years, 5 years. If you're doing transfer, you calculate the timing. Your DS-160 says you'll be graduating, like estimated graduation date compared to the time you are, and then you calculate maybe it's 2 years, maybe you're coming in second year, or you have to spend an extra year. It will determine, it will be on your I-20. So whatever is on your I-20 is what you place, especially as a transfer student.
Okay, so what you're saying is whatever is on their I-20. For instance, if somebody is transferring and the person has 2 more years, and like on the I-20 is 3 years, so are you saying the person should put in 3 years?
Yeah, so because everything has to correlate when the person is, the interviewer is checking. You can't be saying 2 years and your school is saying you have to be there for 3 years, and you just want to collect visa for 2 years. Like, you can get you denied straight up.
Okay, that means like it shows that you don't even know what you're doing, like you didn't read the I-20.
You didn't prepare well.
Okay. So I know, before we jump into the visa interview part, I know that we also got another question on how to get, like, what are the popular students loan.
So student loan. I would say Salime, Discover, Accent. There is one, but you have to be here and you have to remain 2 years for you to graduate, and that's the international one. I've forgotten the name.
I don't know.
The one I told you about.
Okay. NIMC, the one in Nigeria.
No,
right?
no. Is there one in Nigeria? There's one here that I was telling you during that time that I said.
I don't know. I can't remember.
IMF or something like that, but if I will try and check that, she will like maybe put it in the description box.
Okay.
If I later. So yeah, but in that one you have to be here, and it has to remain 2 years for you to graduate.
But which are like the ones that they can get like easily accessible?
Everything you need a cosigner who is a permanent resident or a US citizen. So no matter anyone you apply for, you just have to check the interest rate. So I think one of the best is like Salime, Discover student loan. Accent is also, I heard it's good, but like those top 3 are like what I would personally recommend, especially Salime. So, but since you're an international student, you still need a cosigner, regardless of wherever you are coming. It's the one I was talking about that has to be 2 years, and that means you have to already be here. That is 2 years for you to graduate. That one you don't need a cosigner, so you can apply when you get here for maybe you're starting your freshman year, and then you shall able to pay for the first 2 years, and the main 2 years for you. You can use that other option because you don't need a cosigner at that point. And as far as your credit is good, and they ask for a lot of documentation, like a lot of documents. It can be very stressful, but hopefully they don't give you because you don't need a co-signer, and if you have a good credit score, that's when you're already here. But if you are still coming, you need a co-signer. If it's about loan, and that's Salime, Discover, or Accent student loan.
Okay, thanks for explaining that. Okay, let's move to the interview. And before we move to the interview, something else came to my mind. Do they need to get the student loan before going for visa interview?
For you to even get your I-20, you already have to show proof of fund before the school even issue your I-20. So if you don't even have money, they can't give you I-20, talk less of you even applying for visa. So that means if you don't have your personal money, or if you don't have scholarship that is full scholarship, so if it's even partly like maybe 50%, 30% of the money the school is covering for you, and you still need some certain amount and it's not 100%, you still have to show proof of fund for that remaining part before they give you the I-20 you used to apply for visa. So regardless, if it is not full scholarship that the school just issue you I-20, like everything is paid for, she just need to come, or he or she just needs to come, you have to show the school proof of fund. And for that, it's, like I said, if it's not your personal money and you want to go through loan, you will now apply for those loans. And if you are approved by, going through the process, it can take like 4, 5, 6 weeks, depending on how fast you are with the process and how you're able to see, a co-signer that will have good credit score that will, help you out. So if you're able to, if you are successful in getting the loan, the school and the loan company will contact your school on your behalf that we are going to pay for this. If it's full amount, we are paying for the full amount, it's covering it, depending on how much you request, how much loan you request. Obviously, you want to request for the full amount for the first year. And then the school, the school and the loan company, they shall communicate together. And after that, they just give proof that we'll be disbursing this amount so time. And then that will give the school the peace of mind to give you the I-20, because they are communicating now with the loan company, and it's that I-20 that will state that you have a loan and everything to cover everything. So you have proof of fund, then they'll give you the I-20. That's what you now need to apply for visa. For even before you get to visa, bring a proof of fund. So when you're not going for the interview, you can now bring out the letter of, maybe the good news letter that the loan was approved or something like that, just to support. But most of the time, some interviewers will not even bother to look at any letter as far as they've seen it on your I-20, but just for like I said, more supporting document, more proof that this is the letter from the loan company, it is paid for, and just that will satisfy the proof of fund aspect. You still have to convince the interviewer for other aspect, but for the proof of fund, it should be more than sufficient, in fact, for that. So before you get to the interview, you need to work hard.
All right, thank you for that. So let's move to the interview proper.
The cocoa.
Yeah. So what would you say was the reason why you got rejected in the first place?
To be sincere, I won't say there's a specific thing, because I felt I was well prepared.
Okay.
I was always going online, go and check all those interview questions and answer for student visa, this and that, prep my answer, everything. In fact, the person that interviewed me, if you went to the Lagos one, that you're on the line and you're seeing them as you're hearing them as they're approving and denying people. It's the interviewer that was approving most people that interviewed me, and then I was even happy when I felt, thank God, this one has been giving more people visa. That for sure it will give you. It will give me.
But it served you breakfast.
It's not my boyfriend. It's not that.
No, it served you breakfast. No, but he gave you breakfast. Yes or no?
He broke my heart.
That's it. Now when they break your heart, that's breakfast.
I know. It's not nice. Yeah, it's even more painful, because what was not the difference between you and your other interviewers that are denying, and I got to your front, now denied me that you've been giving other people words. You think you have bad luck or something like that. It happened to be the interviewer, especially if in Nigerian setting, in Yoruba, in so and asked me questions, I was answering, but I would say one thing was I was not too confident enough. I was sometimes I was cracking in some places, or I wasn't looking at him directly, or if I tried to look at him directly, it was either looking at the paper. So me too, I'll look somewhere that I was answering, it's not people looking at me. So let me just give you answers. I was even breaking in some of the questions that I was asking me, but when you're that anxiety now, that's the last stage of everything. Because if you've gotten approved for the visa, just book your flight and come. So it was I was a little oh my God. And I was doing all the whole process by myself. So I was so overwhelmed. This is the breaking point. Everything I've been doing, this is the summary of everything. And it was that I would say I let it get to me, and it had a negative impact in my responses. I mean, not that I wasn't prepared for the answers, but I was giving the answers, but I was breaking it. And they say, if you're already taking your eyes away from them, or you're not talking fast, you think you're lying. I mean, not talking fast, you're not talking you're not coherent, you're not eloquent, and all of those things. They think it's mago. So I mean, they don't know that what has been on my own mind is hey, I must get this visa. I've been doing all the process. I didn't use any agent. I didn't use anything. This is the final point, and I had it. Instead of letting it be my strength, I let it be my weakness, and it showed in my responses. So it's not like I didn't have the answers. I was giving the answers, but how was I delivering my answers and how was my composure and everything. So I'll say that affected my.
Okay.
And it just gave me, and he didn't even tell me the reason, but I was like, obviously that will be the reason. It was my first time. I've never been to the US before. I've never been to another country internationally. So like,
But at least they are here, so that's
hallelujah, we praise the Lord. Oh.
Anyways, I know you said 2 things, so we are just going to start from the first. You said you asked the questions. Like, can you talk? Like, what are some of the questions he asked? Can you still remember?
Yeah, he obviously asked me like.
I'm not saying like you should give the answers. Your
obviously.
answers to the question. So like I'm just saying like what are some of the questions he asked you, so that people that want to like do transfer admission can be prepared that okay like maybe I should also like maybe they're not preparing for this question and then they can like okay maybe I should ask these questions to the list of the questions I already have.
Obviously asking you what you're going there to do, where your school is. He asked me what about my school.
In Nigeria?
No, not in Nigeria, like Miami.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, why do I want to transfer? And I was like, I'll give some of the answers like, obviously, first of all, about the curriculum of the school, about in Nigerian universities because of the government and everything. Some 4-year courses, students end up like spending 7 years because of strike and everything. I did that to the time, like especially during the COVID period, like I really felt getting my degree abroad would be beneficial for me to get my degree in time. Also because of the learning advantages, like the digital something like you can use more practical than theory, or like in Nigeria you're just writing, doing exam, but you're not really having the practical aspect until your first year of job or something. And it like shows where we are like competing internationally. And I mean I gave different reasons like that, which I felt was like effective enough to want to transfer, because like why did I want to transfer to the school? Another question. It was one he asked me that I started fumbling. That I'm trying to get the question. It was last year. It's more than a year now, like last year August. And I think if I remember, I will.
Okay,
but
just text it to me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so also you said that you were scared with the fact that you didn't use an agent. So do you think? No, not like you said. You said like you were anxious. So do you think? Like if you had to do it again, like of course you did it again, but like if you had to like rewind the hands of time, do you think you would have used an agent?
Yes.
Why?
First of all, they've been having different people with different cases, even though it's on the same visa, and they are able to give more advice and are able to synthesize or like predict the questions that the interviewer will want to ask you based on your situation. Though it might be you and this person want student visa, and this person have full scholarship, this person loan, this person are partly funded. So it's like all of you, and also maybe this one is almost starting first year, this one is transfer, this one wants to go and do exchange student, but everything is still student visa, but it has different cases. And the question they will ask person here will be different from person B, even though it's still student, because their situation differs. So I think that itself, I was just checking online for like general like student visa, and also like obviously I knew I was transferring, like why I want to transfer, they would ask me why I don't want to finish. When I started in Nigeria, I didn't think I would finish in Nigeria. So I would say I wasn't well prepared for like my specific situation.
Okay. So that's why you would advise.
Yeah, because when you get to the agent, you what's it called? You tell him everything about all your process, the situation.
Okay, so you're saying agent for visa, right?
Oh, for visa, for what? No. Which type of agent are you asking me?
No, you said because you didn't use agent, so I don't understand.
No, the agent I'm talking about is not agent. No, please. Sorry, it's not agent for like applying for visa or anything. I'm talking about mock interview.
Okay, no, we've not gotten there. Of course, people should do mock
interview.
Yeah,
that's what I meant by the agent. I did all the process, all the CWS, everything myself. It's the visa cocoa that I'm talking about, because even the second time when I was going to apply, I didn't change anything on my DS-160 because I had everything was okay. The person saw like I did a good job. It was just like I'm talking about the mock interview.
Okay.
Not no. Sorry, that's the type of agent I'm talking about, not about traveling.
Okay, Sha, the VO served you breakfast and you had to start schooling from Nigeria. So when you went back, so what would you say was the difference? Why do you think they approved you?
That's what I'm saying. Like I kind of answered it, not knowing.
Okay.
Like my situation, so I went to the mock interview. Oops.
Sorry.
I before then I was like, oh, this time around I think I need an extra hand. So I went online. I can share a contact. Like I was saying, I felt the difference was like I needed someone to like tutor me on how to answer, because that was the main thing. Everything was okay. Like if the person, even the Oyinbo did not seem like there was any mago. My information was, they were correlating properly. So that's when I did the mock interview. So you tell him your situation and everything. Since you are doing the interview for different type of people, different type of visas, the same visa, he knows, like that's what I'm saying, predicting what type of questions the interviewer will want to ask you based on your situation, not just because maybe it's just student visa, like based on your home, what would you want, like some unique questions. And then obviously I tell him about at least my life that pertains to this visa, and then from there he's able to give me answers to those questions. Okay. For example, why do I want to study accounting? I told him some aspect of my life, and he used that as the response, and I did that, and that itself I would say was what gave me the visa. And also the choice, your choice, the location where you want to go for that visa, I would say help me to get my visa. I went to Lagos, and if you live in Lagos, you understand. And compared to Abuja, you know that the Lagos workers, there are so many people in Lagos. They're already pressurized by so many. If you see the line,
I got my visa in Lagos, because I don't understand what people say. Me, I got my visa in Lagos. I still got my visa in Lagos.
Not that people, at least, like I said, that interviewer that I said denied me. Well, it's not that I was not approving people. Obviously, it was approving other people. But then I'll just say, like, also the timing. Might be the timing you went now. You know, everything is just grace of God. The timing you went might be a time where, as per maybe a little lay down. So it will impact their performance. Now, I won't say impact their performance, and like, you know, the willingness to hear what you're saying and not just think, oh, this is out. Compared to the time, maybe if someone goes in the morning or someone goes in the evening, or you know, all those things usually show, even when you're doing normal work, you're more productive at this time or something. So all those type of things come together, and it's just like we just pray to God that God should always make you stand out, so no matter what. Okay. So not that the day you went there, other people were denied now. Yeah, not only you.
So I don't know, like if you feel comfortable with sharing, because I know like a lot of people will come to my DM to ask me. So you said somebody helped you with the mock interview. How much do you think the person charges for mock interview?
Charge me 10,000 naira plus.
Okay.
If that was then, I don't know how much, you know, the prices will change depending on your situation. Okay. That one differs. A person out to do permanent residence and student visa, you cannot expect that it is 10,000. Or if your own situation is very unique. Okay. Not to be negative. So
well, that is that. So you got the visa, and did they ask you, like, because I know like some people when they get rejected and they go back for the visa interview, like the viewer will ask them, so I said that you've been rejected before, what changed? Did they ask you that question?
He didn't say what changed. He just kept on asking me questions like, okay, you've been here before, something, and just started with the questions that I wanted to ask me. Some people, it depends on individual, like another interviewer may ask you, so that does not mean you should not prepare for that question. Just because my interviewer did not ask me does not mean your own interviewer will not ask you.
So I hope that we've been able to answer all your questions. And if you have any particular question you want to ask her, there is, of course, you know that I always put my email in the description box. I also put my Telegram, my IG and my Facebook in the description box. And the reason I do that is so that you people can be accessible to me. That is the reason why I have IG page, so that you all can be accessible to me. For instance, if you want to like chat with me, maybe not in a not so professional way like the email way, or you want us to like exchange pictures and all of
collaboration
that,
in fact,
or all of that, like Instagram is like the fastest way to like reach me to do all those things. So nice. Yeah, so like my IG, everything will be dropped in the description box. So like send me your questions and I would ask her. And for some of you that are always asking for our contact, some of you that are always asking for our Gmail, thankfully she's here, and I'm going to tell you that I am not going to profile you with her contact. Just know that. And as you can see, she's also nodding. I am not going to profile you with her contact, but like most of the time she can testify to it. It's when you ask me questions and I don't know the answer, or like you say, okay, I'm specifically directing my questions to Catherine. I call her and I ask her for the
she
question.
does that.
So at least she's here to confirm. So I know some people might be angry because they've asked me for her contact details, and I'm like, no, you cannot talk to her. I'm saying this in her presence now that please do not ask me for her contact details. She's actually very busy. Everyone here is actually very busy. So please do not ask me for her contact details. However, she's willing to take all your questions. So if you have any question, any specific question, either you write to me in the email or you put it down in the comment section. If I see it, I would respond or I would ask her. And yeah, so like before you leave, Catherine, do you have any advice for people that are going for interviews? You know, like this is the season of interview. So like, do you have any advice to give to people that are going for their visa interview?
Of course I do. I always do. But
You
first,
always do.
yeah, like,
Oh yeah, so what's your advice?
first of all, what worked for me, you know, like I said, unique cases, even though it's the same type of visa, unique cases. If you can, get a mock interview, questions, and you know, help you prepare, and you become more confident because you practice, you do everything. You can do virtual interview practice, in-person interview practice, every type of practice. Another thing, if at the end of the day you still go, and I said you still go, obviously you go. If you go and then it's the other side, if you are not giving the interview, do not be discouraged. The first time I was not giving, and like if you watched the previous video, I said when I was not giving, I did not say because of that I wanted to go to another school, or except if you have a better option, a better offer, that one is different. But if it's like this is what you have, if you what you've got, then don't say because of that I'm no longer doing this process. They did not give me the interview. If you can, take all your classes online, type of thing. Try to take classes, and some people usually defer their admission, but make sure that you apply again. Don't be discouraged. As other people be like the first one, and then they just were discouraged that they didn't. So don't be discouraged. Never give up. So,
yes, exactly.
Like
and something I would add to that is that also remember, particularly if you've never even done like a visa interview before. So if they don't give you, like, that is like a way for you to like gather the experience. Like that's the way for you to gather experience. That okay, so they did not give me this time, but at least I know how the interview goes. I know how the process is. Then the next time you come back stronger.
There's one thing I want to note. Some people, they're always like, don't get denied the first time. Obviously, no one prays to get denied the first time, and that was what I was trying to avoid, because I heard that if you get denied the first time, for it to be approved the second time, it can be very, very difficult because based on your previous experience. But let me tell you, it was my interview for the second one was very easy. Obviously, like you said, you've seen how the process was already. So don't say because of that you will not go for what's it called? You because some people are like, they've denied me the second time, it's very difficult. No, I mean, it depends on you. Just be more prepared and try and think, why was I denied? And like I said, look for different ways to tackle those things.
And something I want to say about like the mock interviewer is, I think we should also clarify this. You necessarily don't have to pay a mock interviewer.
Yes.
You can recruit your friends to do mock interview for you. Particularly for myself, I did everything myself. I did not pay anybody.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be like me and not pay people. If you have the money, or if you feel like, oh, you might not be able to do it yourself, you can pay people. Because I feel like most of the time I'm like, oh, don't use agents, don't do this, don't do that, because I did not use agent and it worked for me. But it doesn't mean that what worked for me would necessarily work for you.
Or even what worked for either of us.
Exactly, work for you. So like, just know yourself.
Completely different story.
Exactly. You might have a completely different story. We might have like different parts. So like, just know yourself. If you can pay somebody to interview you can do that. And if you can not pay somebody to interview you, but just make sure you are practicing. Even if you don't see somebody to practice with, you can stand in front of the mirror. Like I said initially, if you've watched my visa interview story, standing in front of the mirror doesn't work for me. So what I did is I told most of my friends, like, this is what is happening. Like, I was literally doing mock almost every time. But even with doing mock with different people, you will hear different responses.
Yes.
Just know that at the end of the day, this interview is your own, and if anything happens, the only thing people will tell you is sorry. So just being able to like pick whatever it is you want. It is your story.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, own your story, and you'll be the ones, like, it's your visa interview basically. That's what we are saying. Anyways, we've now come to the end of this video. Again, I'm going to tell you to comment down below. As you can see, she said that
What did I say?
That is your comment that brought her back to the channel. So if you want her to come back to talk about anything, maybe questions or anything, you need to comment down below, because if there's no comment, she won't be motivated. She won't come back.
So to be
you also need to watch
sincere.
the video, because if you don't watch the video, you're not encouraging her. Because like I said, I don't pay them. I don't pay them. So comment down below, share this video, share the video. Let us go viral. And if at these moments, like you've been watching my video, you watch this video to this particular part, and you've not subscribed,
What
like,
are you waiting for?
It's not witchcraft.
subscribe to the channel now.
Subscribing is going to get you your visa.
Okay. All right, we are done. Bye.